Today I'm just catching up on Grandma's Kitchen, a few other projects I've been up to, and a wild card sew-along that I've joined. It's just a short sew-along, and a little bit of mail and plans for next month. So let's start with Grandma Kitchen blocks. This block here, so this is block number 7, Oh My Stars, and it's 4 friendship stars, just a nice little block. This is block number 16, Small Change, and Pat gives 2 different sets of directions for making this block. I chose the way that leaves these pieces of fabric as large as you can so that I could fussy cut this block and not have to cut these into much smaller pieces. And so with one pattern there will be squares down here, squares here, and they're all joined together, which would be nice if you have an all over design or a very small design. But because I wanted to fussy cut these flowers, she also gives instructions for doing it like that. And so block number 17 is called Pantry Goods. This is a really nice, simple block. It's sewed up so quickly, really easy to cut. And I think it would look lovely in a lot of patterns. I made 2 because as I say, I'm looking to make a queen size quilt. So that's my 2. I have to say I really like this one. Yeah, just love it. With this quilt I'm trying to use up scraps and fat quarters, and I did have a meter of this blue and of this blue. Other than that, most of it's scraps. So what's happening is I'm starting to use them up. What I did with this block here is I've actually joined quite a few of these yellow pieces, actually have joins in them to make them big enough to get a 2.5 inch square. And so that's another way that when I'm using up my scraps, doing scrappy sewing, is yeah, if I've got to join something to get a block, I'm happy to do that. You know, no quilt police here. I'm not quilting to go in a show. I'm just quilting purely for pleasure and to make something for me. So often in my, particularly in scrappy quilts, some of my pieces will actually have extra joins in them to make it big enough. So that has quite a few pieces joined because I'm pretty much out of that. Not got much left. 2 more things I made. One was I made this Easter basket, and I've actually got a photo of this filled under posts. And I have so many pink scraps because last year I made quite a few pink donation quilts, and I just have so many pink scraps. I'm trying to use them up, and so I thought I would make some scrappy fabric, which I did in pink. You can see I just sew them together randomly pretty much, and it had this nice little girl here on it, and I thought I'd make an Easter basket out of it. And then it just lined with a pink check. You just fold the top over, and it has iron-on interfacing to give it a bit more structure. And then I filled it with Easter eggs and chocolates. My video doing a tutorial on this got eaten by the gremlins, so yeah, I don't have a video of it, but maybe another day. Yeah, so that's a nice easy project, and I'll just use that in the sewing room now for a while. I also made this mini quilt top. Hang on, I'm just going to put this on here so I can hold it up. So these small blocks were all 3.5 inches. Now I made them, I can't remember, I'm not sure if it was a 365-day quilt or there was some project years ago that I started because I like to make miniature things, and I made quite a few blocks, and then I didn't ever do anything with them. I didn't finish the project. So when I came across these this week, I thought I'm going to stitch this into just a little mini quilt, and most of these are, some of these are an inch, like they're only an inch big. So I'm happy with that. So that needs to be quilted. I also joined a wild card sew along, and Teresa that does this has a channel, and I'll leave a link below, but she has this inspiration deck, she calls it, and so there are cards that come here in the deck, and the cards, there's quite a few different sections. So there are cards for different types of blocks, cards for colour, and I have found it interesting reading up more on colour theory. It's a long time since I did colour theory at school. So colour theory, design, which are kind of like which direction, or mirrored or turned. Different elements, fabric choices, layout, mood, and numbers. And so with these cards, you know, on the back, you have lots of different, you have the different ideas. And they can be used in lots of different ways. And so for with this quilt along, Teresa has pulled different cards, and then we go by that, interpret it in our own way. It's been a lot of fun. It's been kind of just going back to playing. Now, whether this turns into a quilt or something else, I don't know yet, but I really enjoyed especially the first block. And these are the blocks that came out of the first week. And so in the first week, we had to make flying geese and use 3 colours using red, purple and green. Now, I made different types of flying geese, some with different colours on each side, some with the same. And also what happened was, this one here, they actually sewed one together wrong, but I really like the way it turned out. So I thought that was kind of a happy accident, and I made quite a few more. And I've put them together into these 2 blocks. That's my first one from week 1. And that's my second one from week 1. And I still have in here some more blocks because I quite enjoyed making them. So some I've put together in triangles. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to end up, but it was fun. It was play because I wouldn't have picked those 3 colours to go together, and I haven't really played around with flying geese. I've just made them fairly standard. So I actually really like the way they came together in that way. They look different. And then block 2 was again a different set of cards, different instructions, and this is my block for block 2. So we had the colours, we had the elements were bars and mirroring. So that's most of what I've been up to. Now the other thing I've done is when I quilt my quilts, I do fairly plain quilting, straight lines using walking foot, but I really do want to learn how to do free motion quilting. And so there's an Australian site where I buy some things from, and I decided to join their online free motion quilting class, and I'll put a link to it below if anyone else is interested. It's all run online via the videos. And so I received my things today for that class. So I've got my high shank ruler foot, and what have we got here? And I've got this ruler. I've not quilted with rulers before or done free motion. A big learning curve ahead of me. Lots of pot holders coming up. And then it also included this Westerly family template set. And so it has these different rulers in it, which I'll show you now. Circles on Quilts, that one's called. That shape. Oh, I'm not sure what that is. Kind of a curly one, another curly one, double splice. And so with this, it's online and the videos are there, and I can just go to it and go through and use it. I am really looking forward to this, and so I imagine I'm going to be making a lot of pot holders and practicing on a lot of small projects over the coming months. I also want to get some of my quilts that I've finished the tops, get them pinned together ready to go. So I'm not sure if I'll do that in May, but that's certainly going to keep me occupied during winter, learning how to free motion quilt. Let me know in the comments if you free motion quilt and how you find it on your domestic machine. I've been working on the Quilted Witch, but I'll do a separate video on that. And the other thing I'm thinking of doing, I really didn't get any work done on my unfinished projects from last year. I was going to try and do 15 minutes a day and it just didn't happen. So what I'm thinking of doing next month is doing my 15 minutes a day and videoing it and posting it, more for my own accountability. Or if people want to join in, that would be great. Hopefully I get back on track with my videos. I got caught by the gremlins this month and had lots of techie problems. Thank you for watching. See you next week.